All right. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. For those that don't know, I am Kendra Nielsen-Miles. I am the Executive Director and Founder of EDS Wellness. Happy New Year. We're so thrilled to have Jennifer with us today. We are going to continue the 2018 webinar program into 2019 just to finish up some of the webinars that we had planned but weren't able to schedule and include a couple more that we weren't able to schedule but would like to still do. So if you have any ideas or any thoughts on comments that you would like to include for us to do this year, let us know. I'm not going to commit to a every month schedule, but we're just going to do them as they come and as we can schedule with those that we would like to have on. So we're very, very excited to have Jennifer Christophel with us. She has a wealth of experience and in professional, personal experience in working with patients with hypermobility related disorders and EDS. She's developed a program. She is a master Pilates instructor. I did tell her that I was not going to read the entire bio. She's also a professional ballroom dancer. I could go on and on. She really has so much to offer and is a wealth of just information, not just, as I said, not just personally, but also professionally in what she's done in her background. She has an immense amount of certifications, but she's got a corrective exercise background, a Pilates background, a dance background. She works at Restore Motion, which is a Pilates, physical therapy / also offers Pilates in Rockville, Maryland. She owns the Balanced Body Studio in Deep Creek Lake. She is just a wealth of information, like I said, and I'm so thrilled and honored to have her here to talk about working with people with hypermobility from a restorative Pilates and really corrective exercise background, movement background. And she can share with you a little bit more about her background and her experience working with patients and also the program that she's also developed and how she approaches everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to let Jennifer show her slides and just talk a little bit, and then we're going to do more of a Q&A at the end. But if there are questions, please ask them in the chat. If they're pertinent to the discussion that's happening at the time, we will, this is more casual, not necessarily completely has to be all Q&A at the end. So if the Q&A is pertinent and it's important to ask during the presentation or when Jennifer's talking, I will say something, but otherwise we're going to hold the Q&A until the end, but we're just really thrilled to have everybody with us. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining and coming with us. We had like 50 some odd people registered. So I imagine that there's going to be more people that join in and a lot of people that were really excited about the recording. So thank you again. And I'm going to mute my mic and welcome.
Well, thank you. First of all, it's an honor to be invited to speak for this group, this organization. I've never gotten to meet you in person yet, Kendra, but we've had a lot of talking on the phone and emails, and I think we really do share the same passion for people and for just sharing our knowledge. So anyways, I say good morning from very, very cold Garrett County, Deep Creek Lake, Maryland. That's where I am today. I spend 3 days a week up here, and the rest of the week I'm in Rockville, Maryland. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start my share. Is that correct, Kendra? And I'm just going to give a little bit of...
It should be in the same place that it was before yesterday when we went through it. So if you can't find it, just let me know.
Tell me if this is correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Yay! Okay.
All right. And then just when you're done, you just click and share, and then we'll go to the Q&A.
Okay, let me just move you up here so I'm not continually... There we go. I don't like to be looking at myself in the camera. So just a quick little background. As Kendra said, I also work at a physical therapy clinic in Rockville, Maryland. And over the last 4 years that I've been there is when I've really been able to, shall we say, develop and start to really integrate what I feel is so important into the Pilates program and also in corrective exercise. I've worked for years in Deep Creek Lake. For about 20 years I've owned a business, and my heart always from the beginning was to work with special populations. And I know a lot of people, when they think of Pilates, it has many different bad raps, good raps, and philosophies and backgrounds, but I just knew that with my background in Pilates, I wasn't getting the perfect little dancer bodies and the young 20 fit svelte 20-year-olds. I was continually getting people in very severe pain, people that had literally been not, shall we say, fired from their physical therapist, but pretty much they told them, like, we can't do anything more for you, and just kind of let them go, and they didn't know what else to do. So I was starting to deal a lot with, way back in, oh, I guess it was 2004 or 5, when I started gaining a really large clientele with pretty severe issues, everything from ankylosing spondylitis to autoimmune disorders, spondylolisthesis, just everything. And so then that's what kind of initiated my, shall we say, it initiated or spurred me on to learn even more than just the wonderful Pilates method. I knew I needed more background to help all these people. And that's what launched me into getting a certification in exercise therapy and what all. But today what I'd like to do is just give you a really quick little overview of a program that I've developed. It's not, I haven't written a book yet. I'm in the process of it. But I do workshops, and I work with different teachers to help them understand how I've had success working with special populations, and specifically hypermobility and soft tissue disorders. So I came up with this name, Release and Restore Method. It's kind of dear to my heart, and it really is what I consider an integrative approach. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next slide here, just so you can, again, people kid around, and a lot of physical therapists at Restore Motion say my hobby is getting certifications and doing workshops and classes. But, once you start learning, it just spurs you on to learn more. It's like the more I learn, the more I realize I need to learn. So, but really, over the years, kind of putting all this together and saying, I'm not just a Pilates teacher. I'm not just an exercise therapist or a corrective exercise specialist. You can see all those things. I'm an integrative movement practitioner. So for me, my heart is to take all my knowledge, put it together, and make it work for that person, not trying to put them in a box, in the little Pilates box, or in the little, whatever box that a lot of trainers do sometimes, but take everything together, and how can I modify and use all my background to help this person in this special need. So you can see I've got lots of credentials. I don't want to go into detail with those, but I will say that Pilates being my main love is true, yes, and I'm a master Pilates teacher, trainer for balanced body educators. My background is with core dynamics with the wonderful teacher, Michelle Larson. But as you can see, I've also branched out into exercise therapy, corrective exercise, fascial fitness and release, trigger point, sports. I mean, anything I could get my hands on that's going to help me meet the needs of those people I'm working with, and to help them, step out of the pain threshold and try to move with freedom and without pain. So that's just a little bit of that. And feel free, Kendra, at any time to jump in and ask questions or anything. That's fine. But, a lot of people say, well, what is this release and restore method? What are you trying to get across to people, or what are you teaching? And so I came up with this description last year, where it's the merging of hydrating, fascial, and trigger point release techniques, and the stabilization of Pilates-based corrective exercise. And I just want to key in on that I love the traditional Pilates repertoire. I was originally what we would consider a Pilates purist or traditionalist, where when I first started, you didn't stray from the method, you didn't change the exercises. And I know that there are some Pilates teachers out there that really feel that that's what you should do, and I respect that. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my patient clientele. I just had to find a way to use Pilates as a platform, and the philosophies and the principles of it, but also to be able to have the freedom to step outside of that, make modifications as I felt needed, and to integrate my background in exercise therapy and corrective exercise. And for me personally, from my heart, I feel like that's why I've had the success that I've been blessed to have so far. And believe me, there are some times where I just feel like I can't meet the needs enough, and I'm trying to learn more, and how can I help them more. But that's what's really dear to my heart, is that I love Pilates. It's my platform, but I feel like we should be free as trainers, instructors, to look even beyond that. I know Joseph did. He was continually modifying, creating, and I don't think he would have just stopped and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm never going to create anymore. Everything works for everybody. He didn't do that, and that's why all of his teachers each one had a little bit of a different perspective. with how he worked with them and how he created things. And I think I personally, I never met him, obviously. I never got to work with him, but a little younger than that. But I do believe that he would be, to this day, creating and modifying and changing and learning and stuff. And I feel like, I share that same passion. So beneficial to hypermobility syndromes and soft tissue disorders. So I know there's been a lot of hype and talk about Pilates and how it's great for hypermobility over the last couple years especially, but these are the reasons why I personally feel like it's helped my patients and clients. I do have my own personal clientele, and then I work under the supervision of DPTs and PTs in the physical therapy clinic. They give me patients with specific goals. I meet those goals with the PT present and around, but they pretty much let me use what I need to meet those goals. And this is what I've seen happens when I can use Pilates as a platform. So it strengthens the deep core muscles of the body. We've all heard that before. Increases proprioception, balance, and coordination. Build stabilization by strengthening the intrinsic muscles around the joints, increasing the ability to control end range of movement, which is very important, as we know, for hypermobility. Corrects faulty proper movement. Actually, that shouldn't say proper. I found it. We always do that. I try to edit and then, we find things, but it should say corrects faulty movement patterns and postural issues. So I'll have to fix that later. Tones and strengthens global muscles without impact or strain to joints. Very important. One of the big problems I've heard is that people with hypermobility syndromes and disorders, they get frustrated because they want to work out, they want to get stronger, and they just get injured all the time. So we have to be really careful to choose the way we work out and who we work out with. I found that it really does help people with promoting relaxation. And I am a huge, huge believer in proper breathing to help combat fatigue and anxiety. I'm actually putting together and creating a workshop all on breathing and ways that we found that it helps, and verbalization cues and different patterns of breathing with another PT I work with at Restore Motion, because we both have over the last few years really come to the conclusion that it all starts with proper breathing. And the diaphragm is one of the core muscles of the body. A lot of people don't know that. And when there's stress stuck there and restriction, it wreaks havoc on everything else. We have found, and I've found personally, that it improves all my clients' patients' mood and their confidence, not just through feeling like they can move and do something that, because a lot of people feel very alone, very depressed, stuck at home, like they can't do anything. It's one step forward, 4 steps back. And it's really been wonderful to, start some of these clients and patients alone and work with them and try to build their confidence, try to get them out of that pain threshold, and then put them with other people with similar syndromes and disorders, and suddenly they have this wonderful community of support. They can talk together, they can connect, it's just been so much fun. They stay after class and they chat and they talk about their frustrations and the wonderful things that happen and encourage each other. And actually for me, that's just as rewarding as seeing them, become stronger and feel better. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, it helps to prevent future injuries. That would be one of the main goals, is to try to help them be able to do everything that they want to do without pain and frustration and injury. So those are some of the reasons why I feel that Pilates is very beneficial. So then the next thing that I want to talk about just a little bit, some of you already may know about trigger points and fascial release. Is kind of hot topic right now. I actually was interested in this years ago before it was so hot, and actually had the opportunity to study for a whole week with Dr. Antonio Stecco in the fascial manipulation method, because I just kept feeling like it was a roadblock to the success of a lot of my clients and patients, and now it's a very hot topic, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit and why I integrate it into my program. So trigger points. What are trigger points? Are hyperirritability areas of contracted muscle fibers that form a palatable nodule. So I think we've all at different times